Good morning, good day. This is your girl, Dr. Tay, here with another morning message. So today I want to talk a little bit about communication. So one of the things that came to mind recently is the fact that sometimes message sent does not always equal message received. And what I mean by that is sometimes we can say things or convey things or communicate things, and our assumption is that the person on the receiving end is interpreting it the same way that we are, and we find out later on that that wasn't necessarily the case. And so one of the things that I've started to do, I'll say probably in the last 5 years, is kind of doing a check-in with people. So I recognize that as I was saying things, even though I felt like I was being clear, I was being concise and consistent, the person who was listening to me didn't necessarily hear it the way that I wanted them to, whether it be the intention behind my message or whether it be just the instructions that I was providing them. So a good example would be like, let's say if I'm trying to let somebody know that there is something that I think that they could work on, or maybe something that I don't necessarily agree with. And so trying to convey that in a way that's caring is something that I try to be more conscientious of by checking in with them, because I don't want them to get the impression that I'm being mean to them or that I'm criticizing them. Even though technically it is a critique, I don't want them to necessarily take it in a negative way, because again, it's coming from a place of care. And so in those moments, just kind of taking a step back to check in to make sure that they understand. So like one of the things that I do is I ask that question, like, am I making sense? Or, is what I'm saying making sense? And it's not to demean like their intelligence. I just want to make sure that whatever I'm saying is being conveyed in a way that makes sense to them. And so by me asking that question, it gives them an opportunity to communicate back to me their interpretation of what I'm saying. And I just found that to be very helpful in terms of conveying whatever it is I was saying. Because again, I think communication can easily be misunderstood, misinterpreted. And that's just because we all come from different backgrounds. We have different mindsets. We have different ways of interpreting things in the world. So to assume that what we're saying is going to be accepted or interpreted exactly the way that we intend it to, I think is a little naive of us, because again, we don't know where someone's frame of mind is coming from, and even like their background. Like if someone comes from a completely different area, and you're saying something to them and they're not familiar with what you're saying, whether it's because of the language or like the lingo that you're using, that could be, a huge faux pas, or, depending on where you are. Certain words have certain meanings in other places. So just kind of taking that step back and checking in with people to make sure that they're understanding where you're coming from. I know very often, like, there may be situations where someone will say, well, that hurt me. And even though the intention wasn't to hurt them, like at the end of the day, like they still have that feeling. So, trying to avoid that by just kind of checking in with them could maybe help alleviate some of that, the possibility of that kind of reaction. So that's just something I wanted to share with you today. I hope that you enjoyed this message, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. See ya.